Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the lovely lady Sally, and she's a gardener. She's going to tell us all about the seasons and gardening. So nice to have you here today, Sally.
Thank you very much.
How long have you been a gardener for, and why do you love gardening?
15 years, and initially it was just a job opportunity for an apprenticeship that I took, and for some reason I just ended up loving it. I just like being outdoors. I like the kind of constant change, not knowing what you're going to deal with each day, and talking to people constantly stopping, saying hello, asking what you're doing, and appreciating the work you do.
Okay. So with gardening, do you take care of all kind of plants?
Yeah, it's pretty varied. I don't deal too much with the trees because that's a bit more specialist, but everything else, it's pretty much anything.
Okay, that's good. So tell us about the seasons. I asked you earlier, in winter there must be nothing to do, and you told me no. so tell us about the different seasonings and different kind of gardening that you have to do and things you have to consider.
Well, winter, you have a lot of winter pruning. There's a lot of stuff that's the time of year you want to cut it back or tidy it up. We also have a greenhouse, so we can concentrate on growing some plants for the new season, ready for spring. Also, you can do things like preparing grounds for new planting, and just there is a lot more kind of preparation work for the spring involved in it as well.
But surely when it's winter, if it snows, everything just...
Yeah, if it snows, which we don't seem to get very much anymore, but when it snows, yeah, you literally can't get to anything to do anything with it really, so... But we don't get much. That doesn't happen very often, to be honest, not recent years anyway.
Someone told me in summer you don't water flowers, is that correct?
It depends on the flowers, and it depends, because if it's needs it, you water it. You try not to do it in the height of the daytime when the sun's out. You try and do it early morning, late evening, otherwise the sun will drink most of the water you're putting down. But yeah, if something needs watering in the summer, you got to water it. Yeah,
I've seen people water the flowers and plants on top. Some people water like the roots, and other people kind of get a sponge and wipe the leaves. What is the correct way?
I honestly, I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a correct way. Different people have different ways of doing things, and there are a lot of old tales of specific ways to do things, but to be honest, I tend to water mostly from the roots of things. But like I said, I don't know if there is necessarily a correct way. I think different people have different ways of doing things, and as long as it's working, it's working.
In autumn and spring, what are the special techniques and considerations one needs to take into consideration?
I'd say autumn is majority just the leaves. It is the constant leaves, and for me, I try and hopefully use as much of that to blow back on the bed so it can break down into the beds. Use that, mulch it if you can, make use of all those leaves that you can make use of, don't waste them. And also spring is going to be a lot of weeds coming up. Always the springs, the weeds will just shoot up, and that's always got to be taken care of. And I think as well with your gardening, it's also what people want from their garden. It depends to what you want to do. Do you want your garden to be colourful in spring, and then the preparation has to be done before spring for that, and then like I said, you maintain it throughout that season.
Okay. I have a problem with ivy growing up the wall.
Yeah.
Don't like it. I'm not really a nature person, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
This guy came along and said, well, why don't you get a bottle of bleach and pour it at the roots and it will die? Is that okay, and does that damage the soil?
I mean, well, yeah, obviously you are contaminating the soil because you're putting something in the soil that's technically shouldn't be there. It's not something I've tried myself, and to be honest, I would consider speaking to someone else and ignore that
Okay.
Because for me, if you don't need to be pouring chemicals on the ground, let's not do it, because it is going to go into the leach into the ground and into the water. Obviously, it's a small amount, but
yeah,
I'm sure there are better ways to deal with it, and if you find someone else.
Talking about dealing with unwanted plant, how do you deal with weeds? You've just kind of ruled out chemicals, so how would you...
Wood mulch is a commonly used. Obviously it still grows up through them, but it does buy you a bit of time, and you can pull it up, and it also obviously breaks down and into a new layer of soil. It is just a constant just going, like, I use these brushes, they say so on the hard surfaces, on the pathways, you've got these wire brushes you can use for that. If it's in the beds, you literally just have to go around pulling them up. I tend to do it mostly just with a little trowel by hand, or you can just hoe the ground. It is just a constant, just keeping going round and round. There isn't really any way of stopping them. They will always be there. You know, things get carried by birds on your shoe, like seeds just travel around, weeds travel around. It's just a constant.
Okay. Well, we're coming to the end of the journey.
Yes.
We thank you for sharing your gift, your knowledge.
Thank you.
Is there anything as a parting that you feel the public should know, our listeners should know about gardening?
Just, I would say, more even than gardening, just getting outside into these kind of spaces. Not for everyone, but most people you'll find just spending some time in beautiful green spaces can really be beneficial just for your health, your happiness. It's a lovely environment to be in. I'd recommend more people spend time in green spaces.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you very much.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.